All right, so let's do some restorative yoga for the heart. We're going to begin in Supta Baddha Konasana, also known as reclining butterfly. So if you happen to have yoga like props, such as the bolster, I would recommend for this practice having a bolster, a couple of blocks, a couple blankets. If you don't have a yoga bolster, a couple firm bed pillows, or even a few good blankets stacked up. But the bolster is sort of this rectangular long shape. And so I'd like to suggest getting your blocks or getting a couple of books, and we'll take one block down. I'm going to say do the middle position. So the block is 3 levels. It has the low, the medium, and the high. So we'll take the medium with the first block, and then the low with the second. And then if you have a bolster, you'll place it so that the top comes over that middle block, and it kind of just balances the bottom down. So the bottom of the bolster would be flat, and then you have this nice slope. And then if you have a blanket, you can put that over the top of the bolster. And then you'll sit down. Your bottom will be up against the bolster. And then butterfly or bound angle is the soles of the feet together. For that, I would also recommend supporting the thighs. So you can get a couple more pillows, fold up some towels, and then you'll roll back. And so this is a heart opener, but it's a very supported heart opener. So we're going to be really sweet in our heart chakra tonight. Really allow just a very gentle invitation to enter this unstruck realm of air. And so again, supporting the thighs, relax your arms, make sure the head is comfortable. And just, we want to feel this nice sort of like opening across the chest, the belly. You don't have to do the hip opener. You can always just keep your knees bent or stretch your legs out long, maybe having some pillows under your thighs. Because the focus tonight is really going to be in this region of the chest, the upper back, the arms, the hands, the heart, the anahata chakra. And so allowing yourself to just find a really supported heart opener. So we're just going to kind of go for it. We're just going to start in kind of our sweetest heart opening position and allow that. So Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclining butterfly, or whatever the most supported heart opener that you can find is to begin the practice today. And so as you lie back over the bolster, over the blanket, so if you're just joining us, we're in the heart and we're just going to go right for a Supta Baddha Konasana for a reclining bound angle. I recommend using a lot of props. So just really creating this sanctuary for the heart, creating a lot of space for the heart. So I have my bolster sort of stacked up on blocks so that when I lie back, it's very gentle. It's a very gentle opening, streaming of the heart energy. And if you have the soles of the feet together, make sure you support the thighs, or you can always extend the legs or bend the knees. But our focus tonight is in the center of the chakra system, the anahata chakra. This is the green chakra, the 4th chakra. So we began at the root, and then we moved into the sacrum, the solar plexus. Now we're in the heart. And the heart is the center of this system. As we move on from next week, we move into the more ethereal chakras, the throat, the third eye, the crown. So we want to take all of the more intense elemental energy and move that into the heart. And so the heart is the thymus gland, it is the lungs and the physical heart. It is the realm of the chest, the breast, the upper back, the shoulders, the arms, the fingers. It is connected to our respiration and obviously our heartbeat, our circulation. It is associated with love and gratitude, empathy, appreciation, also grief and sadness. This is the chakra where we connect to service. So if we follow that movement of the chakras, this is really where we're ready to share our love with the world, right? And so the hands are touch. So the sense we're associated with this chakra is touch. So maybe as you settle into this first pose, you can, for a moment, just maybe place your hands at your heart or just on your arms for a moment, even just rub the fingertips together and just make that conscious connection with touch. And just let yourself settle into the heart. And so, in addition to connecting with postures that stretch, strengthen, and bring a healthy physicality to the heart area, because it's the air element, pranayama is one of the other primary practices. And so as we settle in, once you get your heart as cozy as can be in this gentle heart opener, as you feel into your heart, just start to connect to your breath. Breathing in and out through the nose. And even seeing if you can really breathe up into the heart. And then as you exhale, let the heart relax and settle back towards the props. And so simply just observing the breath moving in and out of the heart can start to lower our heart rate. It can start to kind of calm us down. It can bring us into that space. If you're feeling a little anxious tonight or your mind is going, I want to invite you just to do a really simple count. So as you inhale, you can count to 3 or 4. And then as you exhale, exhale 3 or 4. And just play with this a few times. So if the breath is longer than 3 or 4, if it's a 5 or a 6 or 7 or 8, but we want to have balance and smoothness in the heart. So nice and smooth. We inhale into the heart and we exhale out. And part of why I like to do the balanced breath when we work with the heart chakra is because this is the air realm, and we do want as much as possible that balance of bringing that love in and then offering it out. And so in the same way that we're bringing in oxygen, we're releasing carbon dioxide, we want that balance, right? We want to bring it in and nourish, and then we want to consciously empty it out. We want to keep balance in the heart. And we certainly, it's not always that way. We have our days where our hearts just feel like they're going to burst. They're just overflowing with love and gratitude or happiness. And then we have our days where the heart just feels empty or, broken. And we've all had those days. All of that is part of being human. But because the heart is air, it's not really intended to stay full or empty. It is that pulsation of breath. So in the same way that in the second chakra, right, our feelings are kind of meant to be waves that inform us and guide us. They're not necessarily supposed to be the facts or the actions we take. The heart is the same. The second chakra and the fourth chakra are considered our feminine chakras, which has nothing to do with gender identification. It has to do with an expression of energy. The active masculine chakras move the energy out, the root, the third chakra, the fifth chakra, and then the sixth, fourth, and second, they kind of bring it in. So again, our heart informs us of what we love, how we serve, what we grieve. And through that sense of touch, through that quality of love, we help to move this through our body. Anyone who's ever worked with any kind of energy work, whether Reiki or just sort of organic energy, you'll notice that sometimes you'll just feel that heat in your hands and you're just like, I just need to give this energy out. Or we'll feel that way like when we're so in love with a project or an experience, we want to share it, right? We just want to bring it out. And that feeds into the fifth chakra, to the voice, to expression. And that is the healthy balance of the chakras. We get grounded and rooted. We take care of our basic necessities. We create emotional intelligence and safety, which taps into our intuition and our emotion that brings us into our individuality, our autonomy, our power, our confidence. And then we start to take that action towards what we want, which we then fall in love with and begin to share. Right? And so this is that progression. And so as we rest in the heart tonight, we are with whatever the heart is feeling. So as you count your breath, you are allowing that space for your heart to take in what is needed and empty out what is not. And so we just take this first pose to settle, to invite the opening of the heart, the connection of the anahata chakra. And that counting of breath, bringing the mind and the heart together as one. Lengthening the breath, connecting to the breath, supporting the healthy respiration of our body. And so it's so important to just tend to the heart. We're not trying to fix the heart, change the heart. We cannot force the heart to do anything. But we want to allow the space for the heart's own recalibration and activation. And so just tending to the heart through sweet supported postures, conscious intentional breath, and just finding the balance for your heart tonight. Slow and steady, sweet and deliberate. Because again, for most of us, either we have our hearts wide open or it's closed off. And so while the pose we're in right now is more of an open pose, it's not too much. It's supported, it's stable. And then we're going to kind of play with that stability in the sequence tonight so that the heart knows it's in a safe space to empty and fill. And so we'll be here for just a little bit longer. You can continue counting the breath or just breathing into your heart. And again, the counting is helpful, or just gently connecting to touch, rubbing your finger pads, or if you need to ever place your hands at your heart or on your body. Let's just rest into the anahata chakra. Tend to rest into our heart. We'll be here for a few more breaths. And take another big, big breath in. And this time, open the mouth with an ah. And let's do that again. Inhale, draw the breath in the belly, up into the heart. And then exhale in ah. And then one more time. Inhale, fill up. Exhale that ah. Now, as you feel into your heart, you're welcome to stay in this pose. We've been here almost 15 minutes, but this is a shape that some of us I know can be in 20, 30, 40 minutes. So please feel free if your heart is happy. But otherwise, you can draw the knees towards each other. And then allow the knees to kind of roll to the right. We're going to come into a sweet twist for the upper heart, for the spine, the upper spine, the heart. So as you roll to the right, you can lift up. And so your bolster should be here. And you can just move your blocks or books out of the way. So the bolster's flat, and I'll turn around so you can kind of see it. So it's lengthwise. I still have the support for the head. And again, my knees are stacked. And I'm on my bottom sit bone lifting up, and then I'm going to turn my heart towards the bolster and lower down. And then I'm going to turn my head towards my knees. So this is one of the most supported twists. You can even put a blanket or pillow between your knees. So we're just sort of resting our heart on the bolster. So this is very much a twist for the upper spine, for the heart. So we're gently wringing out any stagnant or excess air energy in the heart, just gently with the breath, with the pose, sort of rinsing that out. The very mild twist. And so breathing here. And I can turn from this side too, so if you need to see my knees or anything. And so as we settle into these poses, I want to invite you to continue, consciously breathing into your heart. You can add the count anytime you need to. You could also play with the color green. The color green or pink are also associated with the heart chakra. I ran out of my green shirt, so this is my pink shirt tonight for the heart. So you can imagine inhaling and exhaling a beautiful green light or pink light in and out of your heart. There's also the seed sound, which we'll chant at the end, which is yam. So you could inhale that sound of yam to yourself, exhale that if counting the breath doesn't feel right. And you can combine that. You could inhale, visualize green as you count or as you hear yam, and then exhale, release it. Some other simple tools for accessing the heart is just calling in feelings of love, gratitude, appreciation, empathy. So when we activate those feelings in the body, it naturally sort of amplifies the electromagnetic field of the heart, which is the biggest in our body. It's the biggest amplifier in our body. And when we access that, and even on our really hard days, there's usually at least one thing we can at least appreciate. Again, we have our days where we're overflowing with love and joy. But then on those days where we feel really depleted, there's usually at least like I said, like one little thing you could appreciate. Even just simply the fact that here we are, another day breathing, right? Pretty big deal, actually. And it can even be something simple like, the tea you had today, or the hummingbird you saw, or, like your favorite yoga pants. It doesn't have to be a big deal. And I do a daily gratitude practice with my little sister. We text back and forth, and we've been doing it for, I don't even know how long now, probably a couple of years almost. And some days, we get busy or whatnot, but pretty consistently. And usually if I forget, she remembers, and vice versa. And it's really helpful. It's a really helpful tool. It's a simple tool. Or have a gratitude journal and just every day write a few things down. Try not to repeat, just little tools to access the heart. And as we're in this twist, which twisting, like I said, is a really gentle way to kind of rinse out the energetic system, help to clarify the values of the heart, of the chakra system. And just again, offering, I'll offer little bits and pieces here and there, and then try to allow you just space to rest in your heart. So few more breaths in this first side of our heart opening twist. Take a big breath in. Exhale that ah. And again, you could linger here for a few breaths. But then when you're ready, lift your heart up and we'll come to the other side. I know a few people that sometimes between sides of this sort of twist, they like to do a little cat-cow or a downward dog. That's not a requirement. In restorative, you're absolutely welcome to do minimal postures. But if your body feels like it does need a little movement, then again, move from your heart. So you can stack the knees, put a blanket between them. Opposite hip is down. Just gentle turn of the heart towards the bolster as you walk down. So a very gentle twist. And then the head looks towards the knees. And just relax the shoulders down. Hug your pillows or bolsters in. And let's just allow this side of the heart to kind of empty out. Consciously bringing in breath. And as I said, any of those other tools, counting the breath, the color green, the yam, the amplification of love, gratitude, empathy, compassion, appreciation. Just holding space for the heart. Anahata means unstruck. And I often share this about this chakra, that when I first learned that, I was like, that's like the worst name for this chakra. Because like what gets struck, more like less than the heart. The heart, like I feel like half the time I turn on the news and it's like, right in the heart, right? And that is true. But it is speaking to this knowing that, in the same way that like we can't operate on our chakras, like they can't like cut us open and like repair the chakras because it's energetic. There is that energetic heart. And the energetic heart is part of our infinite consciousness. Whatever that spark is that comes in, gives us life and then moves on, is connected to that energetic heart. And that energetic heart is unbreakable, is unstrikable, is infinite and full of love and compassion and forgiveness and grace and all of that. And that's why sometimes, in those moments, we have that pure love, that pure capacity for service and generosity, because of that infinite unstruck heart. And sometimes we do build up layers around it, those protective layers, those very human layers around the divine heart. And so our continued work is to unpack those layers and balance those layers. Because again, while we're humans, we do want to be sensitive to the heart. We do need to set appropriate boundaries, and to be mindful of who we share our hearts with, right? That it's appropriate. Yoga stresses discernment and appropriateness, and very much so in the heart. We want to have this heart that shines and radiates and is able to give and receive. And again, if we follow sort of the intelligence of the energetic anatomy, this happens really naturally. But again, we have our own rhythms and cycles and things happen, right? So we continue to practice. We continue to use the tools to come back to our hearts or our bellies or our hips, our legs. Our physical body is such a vessel, such a powerful channel of remembering our infinite nature. So again, just continue to breathe into your heart. Anahata. The heart is also the hridaya, heart. And take a big, big breath in and in. Take your time. When you feel ready, we're going to move into Balasana, into child's pose. And so child's pose is usually done with the knees wide. So you can keep your bolster, your pillow set up. You might want to add another blanket under your knees. And I'll mention if you can't do this pose in a moment, but knees wide, big toes together, sit back on the heels. And then I definitely do recommend folding the heart up and over something. So even if it's just a block right under your chest, that's fine. Or folding kind of up and over. And you can put a little pillow or something down so you can rest the forehead, but just try to feel that, again, conscious contact of the heart meeting support. Resting your hips back, softening your jaw. And when we do Balasana, and usually, right, when we do this pose, the forehead is on the mat. And so it's sort of symbolic of placing the head below the heart. It is the pose of wisdom because we move from the heart. And this opens the back of the heart. You can kind of hug in. Now, if you can't comfortably do this, you can come onto your belly and do a supported sphinx. So pelvis is down, feet are down, and then that bolster is under your ribs. And then you can kind of stack up your blanket or block and place the forehead down. And so it's a little bit more activating than child's pose, but usually if you can at least take the forehead down, you can relax a little bit, but it's still going to open the back of the heart, which is what I'm looking for. So you could do a supported sphinx if that feels better for your knees, or if that just is a preference. Otherwise, we'll take some time here in our Balasana. Breathing fully into the back of the heart, melting the front of the heart towards the support of the earth. So we want to address the chakras from all directions. We started with a heart opener. We did our twist, doing our back of the heart opener now. And just slow down that breath, bringing in any of those heart tools here. Your head is turned to one way. Go ahead and turn it to the other. Just see if you can breathe a little bit deeper here. Just stay with your breath, softening, letting go a little bit more with every breath. So often we hold things in the heart, and it's talked about in a lot of traditions, the duality of attachment and aversion, right? So like when we love something, when something is so joyful, we want to feel that way forever. And then when something, when we're grieving, when we're hurt, it's like it feels like that's always going to be that way, right? And so that attachment, that aversion again, but this is the air chakra, right? Like we're never intended to hold the inhale forever or the exhale. The very functionality of respiration is to inhale and exhale. So again, we feel joy, we feel grief. And, hopefully if we've tied into that sacral chakra, we have that emotional intelligence in the body. And we're aware of those feelings, and that's a process too. So that when they do come up in the heart, we can be a little bit more surrendering with the pulsation. But it is practice because again, joy is joy, and grief is grief. So that's tough. Take a big breath in, fill up into your heart, hold the energy of the heart. Now with a big sigh it out, emptying out the back of the heart. Then take your time, roll on up. We're going to do another heart opener here. This one's a little bit more spacious. It's a little bit more opening. So if you have a blanket, I want you to open it up. So if this was kind of the fold, sort of this rectangle, you're going to open it up and you're going to roll it up kind of nice and tight. So it looks like this. And then you can put your bolster down towards the bottom of the mat. And then what we're going to do is we're going to place the blanket down. And you'll have your bottom down. The bolster can be under the knees, or you can put it under the feet for a little bit of a mild inversion. And you're going to kind of use your hands to position the roll right underneath the shoulder blades, which is kind of like right around the bra strap line. And then roll yourself back. So the elbows are behind the blanket towards the top edge of the mat. Roll the shoulders down, the head is down. So that roll is coming right underneath the shoulder blades. So we're opening the heart here. And then, like I said, the bolster can be under the knees, or you can push it down so it's under the feet, so you can get a little bit of flow towards the pelvis, and that can feel really stabilizing in the heart opener. You could also kind of relax the hands down. Now, if this is too much, you can always flatten this. So instead of a roll, it can be like a fold. You can fold it a few times, so it's a little bit flatter and not as intense. Or you could always lie back over the bolster and just have it lengthwise flat, or turn it. So we just want to spend a little more time with the heart opening now that we've done the twist in the child's pose. So roll the shoulders down, soften the jaw. And like I said, for me, having my feet on my bolster just feels really nice to stabilize the pelvis. But Our bodies are all different and our hearts are all different. So again, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Relax the face. Connect back to your breath. We want to be able to breathe just as slow and deep here as in any of the other postures. Just letting everything kind of gather in towards the heart as we breathe in and out. Nice and slow. If this gets to be too much, you can always roll to one side and curl into a fetal pose, which is very nourishing for the heart too. So we are going to be here a little bit longer. You can always roll, shift, or like I said, go ahead and just lay back over the bolster if that's preferable. Deep, deep breath into your heart, into your body. We continue to nestle the shoulder blades down. Let the shoulders soften away from the ears, soften your eyes and your mouth. Feel the breath moving from the belly to the heart and back again. And take another big, big breath into the heart. Hold. Open mouth, sigh. If you have your legs up, you can bend the knees. Maybe feel your feet on the mat. Let your knees knock together for a moment as you just feel into the heart here one more time. If it's okay on your body, you can stretch the arms up as you let the knees knock together. Take a big breath. And then roll yourself to one side. You can kind of move that roll up a little bit so it maybe lands underneath your head, and just make a little pillow here. Just curl to one side. Curl your heart towards the earth. Just cherishing this space with your heart. And then we're going to move into Shavasana. We're going to do a little more breath awareness before we completely release. But you can, again, adjust that roll so that you can fold it or adjust it so it can go underneath your head. And then you can take that bolster under the knees. You can cover up your body. If you want to come back into Supta Baddha Konasana again, you could do that. Just trying to lie in a place where the heart can settle. So again, we've done the gentle opening, the twisting, the emptying, the opening a little bit deeper. So we've got that open heart. Now we kind of want to just let everything sort of settle, right? Let it rest. And so be somewhere that you can just, again, draw the shoulders on the back, let the feet open. If the body needs anything else, if you want to hug the knees in, or again, if there's anything else the body needs to feel comfortable in Shavasana. And so that could be, like I said, a different variation. You could do the sideline Shavasana or anything that feels better. Just make sure you're warm and you're comfortable. If you work with crystals, you could always, set a quartz or rose quartz or any kind of green crystal at your heart. You could take a moment just to place your hands at your heart. We're going to work with a very simple breath. We're not going to be counting anymore, but we are going to focus at the heart. So once you're ready, just sort of like let yourself settle in. And just feel into your heart. And just notice as you inhale, the breath moves up into the heart. And as you exhale, it moves down and lets go. So again, there's this pulsation. As we inhale, we fill the heart. And then as we exhale, there's the offering and the releasing. And we're going to count back the breath, focusing at the heart. And I know I said that we're not going to count the length of the breath. We're just going to count the breath. So it's a little bit more simplified. And so staying focused at the heart, as you breathe in, you're just going to hear yourself say, I'm inhaling. And we'll start at 22. I'm inhaling 22. I'm exhaling 22. Again, staying with the breath in the heart. Inhaling, I'm inhaling 21. I'm exhaling 21. And you'll continue to count back the breath, focusing at the heart. And as you count back each breath, imagine that we're peeling back a layer. So I talked about how we have that anahata, that infinite unstruck heart, but we do build these layers over our natural human hearts, right? Like our joys and our grief and our attachment and our aversion. And so as you consciously breathe into your heart, as you count back, imagine that air element, just that layer, that veil, just dropping and clearing away. And with each breath we count back in the heart, we drop closer and closer to the essence of our unstruck heart. If you get lost, come back to 22. If you get down to the bottom, then come back to 22. But as we count back the breath, we're staying in the heart, we're relaxing. Again, we're not worried about how long the breath is. We're just allowing the inhale. I inhale, I exhale. Breathing in and out of the heart. Giving ourselves this full permission after our sequence to clear away any of the veils, the layers that are blocking us from accessing that sweet unstruckness that is our innate wholeness, our innate heart. Somewhere under there, under the grief and the loss, the disappointment, the betrayal, the attachment and the aversion, is just that pure love, that pure, radiant amplification of just gratitude, appreciation, empathy, compassion. And counting back the breath, focusing at the heart. Shedding anything we don't need, emptying anything we don't need. Each breath bringing us closer to that energetic heart center. And you are welcome to stay with the count. Or now go ahead and let it go. Let go of any effort around the breath. And just sink deeper into your heart, knowing your heart space. It is said that, the heart whispers. And so everything else has to get quiet enough that we can hear it. And so let yourself get quiet now. Tend and rest into your heart. Your unique heart that knows what they love, knows how they want to give and serve and shine. And that unique breath that is yours as you come into this body until we move out of the body. That breath is connected to your heart. And just rest deeper into the anahata, the hridaya, letting everything else go. continue to rest, but start to just sense into the space of your heart. Can you sense the physical heart nestled between your lungs, a little closer to the left? The lungs and the heart protected by the cavern of the ribs that connect to the spine at the back of the body, the shoulder blades that rest on either side of the spine. As you feel again into the ribs, how it connects to the breastbone and the collarbones, your shoulders, down your arms to the tips of the fingers. The tips of the fingers back up through the wrists and arms, shoulders, the chest, the physical breasts, or that space again that we connect to here, and the muscles of the chest, the arms, the upper back, the lungs and the heart, and somewhere shining underneath all of that, that spinning green wheel of light. It emanates out through the bones, through the organs, through the muscle and the flesh, even up through the thymus gland, hidden behind the breastbone towards the right. This is the realm of the anahata chakra. Take a big breath, sensing into this space. Exhale that and you could begin to wiggle your fingers, roll your wrists. And then you can either stretch through your arms or again just gently roll to one side, curling your heart towards the earth. And if you'd like, you could lift up and come to sit. You can always continue to rest. And then you can rest your hands at your heart, kind of like wings, which is one of the things I sort of organically do. You could also bring the hands to prayer or to lotus with the fingers spread and the pinkies and thumbs kissing. And just feel into your heart. And we'll tone the bija, the seed for this chakra, to seal our anahata yoga practice, our restorative yoga for the heart. So you can listen or hum or tone yam along with me. Take a deep breath. Yam. From my heart to yours, I bow. Thank you so much. Big virtual hug to you. I bow to you. Have a beautiful weekend, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.